Are you lost, seeking answers regarding life beyond the veil, or need daily motivation? You're in the perfect spot. Matthew's testimony today is one of the most amazing I've heard. During his few months in the afterlife, Matthew experiences unusual incidents that expose shocking conditions. Please read his tale to the end. Happy listening. After 3 years, my girlfriend left me for her surf instructor. After I found the truth, our narrative ended. I've been living alone in this house for months, which feels huge and empty without her. I felt funny in the afternoon of July 10th, like I had eaten something nasty. I went home and slept that night. I experienced a stomach ache Thursday afternoon at work and assumed I had a virus. I went to bed again when I got home that night. At 3 a.m., I felt like someone had stabbed me in the stomach. It persisted. I called a friend but received an answering machine. I waited in discomfort till I reached my neighbor at 7 a.m. I asked her to take me to the nearest emergency room in hopes of bypassing the doctor's referral wait if it was serious. They saw me instantly, much to the annoyance of the others, and admitted me to the local hospital after calling AE to let them know I was coming. After arriving at the hospital a few minutes later, I didn't see anyone for almost 8 hours. I contacted work to give updates and got increasingly incoherent. I had regular surgery for Crohn's disease and an inflamed appendix in the ER and would be out by Monday. After surgery, the surgeon found appendicitis and a ruptured ileum. The pus reached my liver. I survived, but I never informed him about my NDE. I expected him to believe I was insane and give me antipsychotics. Next few days, I followed him in various steps. While in the ER, I fell away. It began with a black roadway with streaks and sparks of different hues. I felt like I was on an airport moving walkway. I immediately found myself in a desert-like region with a stream of people walking toward a building. After understanding what happened, I went to the building. It resembled a barn and a 19th century church. There were people and little creatures. Nobody wanted to talk to me since they were busy. Finally, I found a figure willing to converse sitting alone. I waited a long time, but he promised I would get there. It was bright outside, but I didn't need any modifications for comfort. Numerous highways and huge animals existed. An unknown man told me, "You don't belong here." As I returned inside, I was taken to a neutral place like this plane. It was my duty to attend class or learn. Despite a few hours here, my experience lasted a week. I woke up from surgery. I felt like I knew I would die and was comfortable with it. I returned to the experience and joined a class with other entities. Everyone got a gadget with distinct functions. Other than me and one other entity, they were in groups of 3. Experienced the lesson for 4 months. Half of it taught how to use this tool and other topics. The remaining half was spent using our tool in the field with my lab colleague. I traveled to his house and we erected a healing structure. His instrument constructed, mine healed. The experiential time was 6 months, or 2 to 3 days. A couple folks were close to my bed when I woke up. Nurse released air from a huge needle. Disoriented, I felt. The doctor recoiled when I asked, "What are you doing?" He muttered something boring like, "It took us a lot of time and effort to wake you up." He asked me to shift things, then put pressure on me to answer questions. I was examined for several minutes. I don't know when, but I passed out when the lady of the veil put her left hand under my neck and her right hand on my belly at the hospital. I next visited a place with beautiful grass hills and flowers. An entity I had never met was loving and accepting me unconditionally. 2 months of experience with this entity followed. This location was plainly for the dead, and I felt I would never return. I knew my last destination was inaccessible, but someone created an exception. As usual in my life, every day was full of delight and passed quickly without concern or fear. I recall how each morning began with a radiant sun that did not scorch the skin, and many people and figures clasped hands in prayer and praise. This ceremony was done multiple times a day to thank nature for everything from flowing water to blooming flowers. Unlike worldly life, where everything seems taken for granted and worthless, this constant thankfulness brought peace. Most of my memories are happy, thus time passed slowly. Many folks seemed pleasant and busy, enjoying their everyday tasks. I often sat under a giant walnut tree or walked through beautiful scenery. Naturally, I returned. My life cord had changed or was absent, and I wasn't back. At some levels, this remains true. It has escalated since then. The tip of the iceberg. Only 8 days went here while I experienced 8 months. I never believed in a higher power before, but when you're hugged by one, religion isn't an issue. Experience talks. An intriguing footnote. I was transferred to a different employment program a week prior. This is typical. There were no common people between positions. I had an NDD. Performance reviews followed 6 months later. My boss got conflicting reviews from both superiors. It was like reviewing two separate people. They fought the whole time we met, accusing each other of making totally incorrect assessments. The center manager dubbed it a discontinuity and sought to explain it. I mentioned nothing for evaluation. I never told my first manager anything before the encounter. Never treated me nicely, so I retaliated. I'm still amazed and frustrated at how easy it is to squander years on needless unhappiness, disputes, or seemingly insurmountable difficulties. After missing everything else, we don't realize the beauty of tiny things, the pleasure of talking to others, or the thanks for the sun rising every day behind the mountains, big and strong. My mother usually knows what occurred to me. I didn't want to inform my pals, but they noticed my transformation. I hope this sharing helps even one person going through a tough period. I hope your life beyond the veil brings peace and well-being. Focus on your present life for now. Live in the now. Face problems with courage and be grateful and determined every day. Every moment is a chance to grow, learn, and connect with the world. Don't let future anxieties cloud your present. Breathe deeply, enjoy the little things, and see the beauty around you. Your life matters infinitely. Every step puts you closer to your entire potential. My sincerest thanks for listening to the testimony so far. Leave an comment on this video. I appreciate your trust and support. God bless.